Education, the cornerstone of self-government. America is turning from the mere thought of the material advantage to a greater appreciation of the cultural advantage of learning. It is coming to be valued more and more for its own sake. People desire not only the intelligence to comprehend economic and social problems, but they are finding increased leisure is little more than time wasted in indulgence, unless an opportunity for self-development and self-expression has been provided in youth by the cultivation of a taste for literature, history, and the fine arts. Teaching is one of the noblest of professions. It requires an adequate preparation and training, patience, devotion, and a deep sense of responsibility. Those who mold the human mind have wrought not for time, but for eternity. The obligation which we all owe to those devoted men and women who have given of their lives to the education of the youth of our country, that they might have freedom through coming into a knowledge of the truth, is one which can never be discharged. They are entitled not only to adequate rewards for their service, but to the veneration and honor of a grateful people. The encouragement and support of education is peculiarly the function of the several states. While the political units of the district, the township, and the county should not fail to make whatever contributions they are able, nevertheless, since the wealth and resources of the different communities vary, while the needs of the youth for education in the rich city and in the poor country are exactly the same, the obligation of society towards them are exactly the same, it is proper that the state treasury should be called on to supply the needed deficiency. The state must contribute, set the standard, and provide supervision if society is to discharge its full duty not only to the youth of the country, but even to itself. While the cause of education has long had the thoughtful solicitude of the national government, while it is realized that it is a state affair rather than a national affair, nevertheless it has been provided by law a Bureau of Education. It has not been thought wise to undertake to collect money from the various states into the national treasury and distribute it again among the various states for the direct support of education. It has seemed a better policy to leave their taxable resources to the states and permit them to make their own assessments for the support of their own schools in their own way. But for a long time, the cause of education has been regarded as so important and so preeminently an American cause that the national government has sought to encourage it scientifically, to investigate its needs, and furnish information and advice for its constant advancement. Pending before the Congress is the report of a committee which proposes to establish a Department of Education and Relief to be presided over by a cabinet officer. Bearing in mind that this does not mean any interference with the local control, but is rather an attempt to recognize and dignify the importance of educational effort, such proposal has my hearty endorsement and support. It is thus that our educational system has been and is ministering to our national life. Our country is in the process of development. Its physical elements are incomplete. Its institutions have been declared, but they are very far from being adopted and applied. We have not yet arrived at perfection. A scientific investigation of child life has been begun, but yet remains to be finished. There is a vast amount of ignorance and misunderstanding, of envy, hatred, and jealousy, with the attendant train of vice and crime. We are not yet free, but we are struggling to become free economically, socially, politically, spiritually. We have limited our amount of immigration in order that the people who live here, whether of native or foreign origin, might continue to enjoy the economic advantages of our country, and that there might be not any lowering of the standards of our existence, that America might remain American. We have submitted an amendment to the National Constitution designed to protect the child life of the nation from the unwarranted imposition of toil, that it might have greater opportunity for enlightenment. All of these movements are in the direction of increased national freedom and an advance toward the realization of the vision of Washington and Lincoln. A new importance is attaching to the cause of education. A new realization of its urgent necessity is taking hold of the nation. A new comprehension that the problem is only beginning to be solved is upon the people. A new determination to meet the requirements of the situation is everywhere apparent. The economic and moral waste of ignorance will little longer be tolerated. This awakening is one of the most significant developments of the times. It indicates that our national spirit is reasserting itself. It is a most reassuring evidence that the country is recovering from the national exhaustion of the war, and that it is rising to a new life and starting on a new course. It is intent as never before upon listening to the word of the teacher, whether it comes from the platform, the schoolhouse, or the pulpit. The power of evil is being broken. The power of truth is reasserting itself. The Declaration of Independence is continuing to justify itself. Thank you.